Evening all, welcome back to Factorio. And what we're doing here today is we're showing, for those that know, we're moving the purple science factory to a more optimum solution. That's right, purple science. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we're moving twinkle dust to the moon farm so that we can then harvest saturated fat. I don't know. It's, yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, then great. If you don't, don't blame you. It's all a bit weird. Games like this generally are all a bit confusing. Look, basically what I'm doing here, let me try and break it down for those that don't know. You have to produce modules in every way possible. You use trains to bring raw components to a centralized point where you then process, build, manufacture, whatever, a component or an interim and component, then you then produce the final component. Now, I do all of that off-site. So these little modular factories that you're seeing here, and the one above is the new one, the one below is the old one. The old one didn't work because it was a single rail with no stopping yard. So as you can see here, I can move my engineering train to its own personalized parking space. And then you see on the right, you've got all of the drop-offs for the various different regals that you need. And then above, and you'll see just as I walk up eventually, is a parking lot for trains that are waiting for their spot to unload. Goodness me, that could have been the most boring words ever said. Any of you still awake will will probably recognize that as, yep, it's Factorio talk. So what I'm doing here is basically moving all of the station names, because again, the trains are coded, so they always go to the right station once they've done a particular action. So I have to decommission the signals below, and you can see I'm doing that there, and then move the trains to the other lot. And then the factory that you see there, that's a mod, that's a Factorissimo mod. That will then just move en masse up to the new factory location. And Bob's your mother's brother. It will be tickety-boo and lovely to go. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah, interesting. Again, design is a big part of this. So this is a much more streamlined design. And, oh my God, I need a girlfriend so badly. As I say that, I'm even disgusted by myself. So if anyone's still listening to this, then fair enough. My last date was horrendous. I'll just share that with you because I don't know why. I'm going to tell the internet and people I don't necessarily know that I had a wonderful last date. It involved me trying to hide in a toilet for quite a long time. She was a lawyer, or a solicitor as we call them in this country, and she had... oh my God, it was like she was at work. She was just asking me question after question after question. And I swear to God, by the end of it, I was trying to literally wish an injury on myself to get away. She was pretty hot. I mean, I'll be honest with you, she wasn't bad. I don't know if you can hear Discord whipping away in the background. By the way, we have a Discord. If anyone's interested in joining, feel free to join. It's in the description. If you're weird and a loony, you'll probably be kicked. If you're not a weird and not too much of a loony, you'll fit right in. Anyway, so this date ended with me dropping her off. Now, this is where your opinion of me will be dropped somewhat, isn't it? She invited me in for coffee, and I said, I said no. As I drove away, I felt very Christian in my beliefs, and it was pretty tragic in every possible sense, because she was just so annoying. It's like, I know she meant well. And I know that, dating's hard in the UK, particularly because we're so repressed as a people. So, yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Didn't enjoy much of it. So it's games like this that I find myself playing with absolute frustration and passion well into the night. Because I'm a lonely bastard. And I think it's I'm laughing at it, but it's quite tragic in a way. But hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, what the hell can you do? It's something I wish Donald Trump would do. It's just laugh at himself, but he just has no ability to do that. And I just guess that's what a lot of people are like now. They have a persona. I mean, particularly YouTube is full of right little egos, isn't it? I'm quite content to say that as a human being, I'm pretty well-rounded. I'm pretty normal. But when it comes to laughing at myself, well, I'm pretty good at that as well. That could be a British thing, I guess. But I don't know. I think most people that I met playing Dust while I was playing those heady days of Dust, they were pretty good people. There were a few psychos that were just completely serious about everything. These are the people that would message me after a match and wish certain forms of cancer upon me. And it after a while, you just think to yourself, wow, It's a bit over the top in it, brah. A bit over the top, but there we go. You know, fun times. Well, not really fun times, but odd times, I guess. So yeah, continuing to build this wonderful factory. I mean, again, it's all about having the inputs and on the outputs, and you can see here we're just then setting up the blue chest. That's the outputs. We've had to widen this one here. So you see the station I'm standing in the middle here. Had to widen that because we need to deliver lubricant. We need to oh god, as I start to say this, I'm realizing how dodgy it sounds. I need to deliver 2 industrial trains worth of lubricant to my front door. And there right there is a meme ready to write itself, which is just ironic. But yeah, so this is a wonderful, I think, part of the game that I actually quite enjoy, which is this kind of, can you make in a very efficient design? I think it's because when I was a kid, I did design and technology at school, and it was always the most fun part of my week. Didn't like maths and all that nonsense. Didn't like English because we speak it already. Why do I need to learn it, brother? And it's things like that. I just thought, what is fun in school nowadays? And I was watching the news today, and I was saying that, hey, we're going to start cutting design and technology and art class and all of this stuff. It's like, oh god, the UK has nothing left. As we drive our German cars to our offices built by, God knows who, the Irish mostly, and then we get in our lift and we go upstairs and we have our Colombian coffee and we sit on our IKEA furniture from Sweden. It's just ridiculous. There's nothing that Britain does anymore, other than banking, which is, again, under threat because of Brexit. And weirdly enough, the creative arts, so things like design, is still one of the things that we're actually quite good at. But, oh well. The saddest thing about this is seeing your country in decline. Now, that might sound a bit I don't know, that might sound a bit OTT, but bear with me on this one. Britain has never felt more in decline than it is right now. But because of things like Brexit, which is not, I'm not saying I'm pro or anti-Brexit. I mean, I'm very anti-Brexit because I'd rather remain because I like European people. And I've worked in Europe and I continue to work in Europe. So to me, I quite enjoy that as part of my life. But if that's a decision we make as a democracy, fair enough. But it's you get to this point where you just think, what happened in this country to make people hate foreigners like that? What happened in this country where we were scared of foreigners? Because for years and years, ever since I was a kid, growing up it was a mixture of different cultures, religions, beliefs, and God knows what else. Now, I'm not being all kind of hipster and weird and cool here, far from it. But it's just that feeling of we never used to have a problem with this. And yet all of a sudden we do. And it does feel slightly misguided. Whenever I talk to people who are, quote, pro-Brexit, I'm always a bit surprised at what their viewpoint is, because in my opinion, it feels very wrong. This country isn't awash with immigrants, far from it. If anything, we need more to drive industry and so on. But, oh well, I'm not going to go down that avenue because much pain and despair leads that way. But I think that's kind of what makes me, wonder nowadays what the hell is going on with life. I just think it's a strange thing. It really is. Like today, more than most, I just find that things are kind of odd. This is why games are a wonderful thing to retreat to. They are a wonderful stability in a time when, let's face it, quite a lot of the world is a bit messed up at the moment, and or if it isn't, it feels that way. And I think having something in your life that's just a little bit simple, straightforward, and understandable is a wonderful thing. So gaming, I think, is it's an art form to me, and it's such a shame that it still has stigmas attached to it that just make it feel wrong. I've never understood that. Like, again, I've mentioned it many times in my videos before, but at my work, if I mentioned that to them that I was a gamer, they wouldn't celebrate that. They would use it against me, and they'd be like, they'd literally look at me like I'd just dressed up in a clown costume and got my cock out. That's literally what they would be doing. And I think that's the problem, is that there's too many kind of people who have this preconception of what gamers are and what gaming is, and they kind of annoying, so never be afraid of who you are and what you do. That's my motto in life, I promise you. I have always, at work, I've always been one of those people that just says and does what I feel is right. I have a pretty good moral compass, therefore that guides me well. If I didn't have a good moral compass, I think I'd have been told quite a long time ago, hey, brah, you're a bit messed up. But, what can you do, innit? It's all fun. I think a lot of the time gaming is something that there's not enough kind of focus on it as a proper art form. Now, the one difference here is my phone vibrates in my face. Is the esports. I always hated esports. So esports to me was something that people really thought was the establishment of a gaming culture in the world. And I think it's completely wrong because most esports are phenomenally douchebaggy. They're filled with very unfriendly, unpleasant people who are more interested in grinding your face and mushing you into the floor than creating a industry that's sustainable and has, I mean, how many teams go out of business? They're all corrupt as far as I see it. And I think that's such a shame because this is kind of the issue. And esports, I think, have done a lot of damage to gaming because people just disregard it because their experience of gaming is esports, and they think, "What the hell is this?" And therefore, people dismiss it. It's a big issue. It's a really big challenge for me to as somebody who now works in software. When I talk to kind of fellow colleagues in the industry, God, I can't believe I'm saying that now, but it's true. The opinion of gaming is very low as well. So commercial software development is such a pinnacle of importance, and yes, it's where corporate and it's very about making money and making profit and driving the world forward. And I think gaming is seen as a bit childish, and that's why it pays nothing and it's a terrible industry at times. So. Oh well. This video has been nothing about Factorio, has it? Hopefully you've enjoyed the visuals, because I certainly have watching it. Look at this. Look at this. It's like watching a Clockwork Orange. It's like watching a Clockwork watch tick away. Everything's working beautifully. The trains are arriving. They're stacking up nicely. When it's clear for them to deliver, they deliver, and there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.